your ruler, Zod. Your lands, your possessions, your very lives will gladly be given in tribute to me.
Okay, so this is gonna be my review for Venom to Let There Be Carnage. It was on par. Let me start with the positives. And then I'll get into the negatives. The positives. I really think they nailed the aesthetic look. They got the look of Carnage spot on. Like, the look of Carnage, they made it as close to comic book Spider-Man the animated series 90s as possible. Like, it was basically like if the Spider-Man if the 90s animated series and the comic book character came to life right off the comic book pages. They did a better job with the look of Carnage than they did with Venom. But to be fair, Venom looks kind of incomplete simply because of the fact that he's missing his white pattern, and that's probably what detracts from Venom looking like spot on. But Carnage doesn't suffer that problem because Carnage never had a pattern on him to begin with. So okay, so they nailed the look of Carnage. Carnage is really good. Another thing that I like that they did with this movie was, and this was in the 90s animated series and the comic books, is when Venom and Eddie become more symbiotic together, they get more powerful, right? So when Eddie gives in to the symbiote and just like becomes like, they decide they're one, that's sort of the whole catchphrase "We are Venom" comes from, because once they become the we instead of the individual is when they become more powerful. So that was really cool that I like that they touched on. As far as the rest of the parts of the movie, obviously I really like that they're finally introducing Venom into the MCU, and this Venom is gonna meet Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I like that. Definitely like that. And hopefully that'll lead to, like I mentioned earlier, that'll finally lead to Venom getting his classic white pattern across his chest. But in order for that to happen, it might require Venom hitching a ride on Peter Parker for a time before returning to Eddie Brock, because that's how Venom got the spider pattern. Because in the comics and in the 90s Spider-Man TV show, that's the whole reason Venom has the white spider pattern is because he copied it from Spider-Man, because he went on Spider-Man first before he met Eddie Brock. But anyways, so that does kind of put like a whole weird dynamic in the stories, because Venom was supposed to meet Peter Parker first, not Eddie Brock first. So yeah. Then let's see what else. So I like that they're finally connecting it to the MCU. As far as now, let's cover some of the other stuff. A lot of people are giving Woody Harrelson a lot of praise saying that, oh, he did such a good job. Oh, he did such a good job. Did he though? Like, anybody could have played. What my point is, Carnage did most of the work, right? They nailed the look of Carnage. They nailed that, right? They nailed the look of Carnage. They nailed all of that. And Carnage does like 80% of the work, right? So really, it could have been any good actor playing a crazy guy. So it's not like it's. I mean, people were. I'm not saying he did a bad job. He did a perfectly fine job. He was perfectly fine as Cletus Cassidy. My problem is people are giving him way too much credit, saying, "Oh, he did such a fantastic job." They're overselling it. They're overhyping it. They're making it sound like he did as good a job as like Heath Ledger as Joker, and it's like no. He did an okay job. He did a you know. Anyways, not only that, it doesn't even matter anyways, because they killed him off at the end anyways. They killed off Cletus Cassidy at the end anyways. Carnage is still alive. We saw Carnage get away, so the symbiote Carnage got away, but Cletus Cassidy died. Okay, so anyways. The stuff about Venom being gay, articles before the movie came out, it turned out to, they didn't really make too much of it. It was just a few woke jokes throughout the movie where Venom kept alluding that he was gay for Eddie or something, which it really wasn't needed, it wasn't necessary, but they kept it minimal to the point where it could be dismissed as comic relief. So it wasn't a big deal. Let's see what else. Overall, it was on par with the first one. It was just more of the same. Overall, I would say it was a mediocre movie. I don't know why everyone's saying it was that great. The only great thing about it was we finally got to see Carnage in a movie, and Carnage was pretty cool. It's pretty cool, but they killed off I didn't like that they killed off Cletus Cassidy. It's like you're gonna finally give us Carnage, and then you're gonna kill off Cletus Cassidy right away. It's like Cletus Cassidy is Carnage. I know symbiotes can go live on and be with other people, but those aren't the same iterations of the character. The Carnage is the Carnage that is connected to Cletus Cassidy. So I don't know. They killed him off. So it was a mediocre movie. I didn't really, to be honest, I wasn't really that much of a fan of the first one. I don't think Tom Hardy is that great of an Eddie Brock, to be honest. And I think this whole thing of Venom being created with Eddie Brock before being attached to Peter first is silly. It's like no. The whole character, it just throws off the whole dynamics of the whole character, because the whole character was Spider-Man gets the symbiote from off-world. The symbiote develops a relationship with Spider-Man, not a relationship as in gay, like a symbiotic relationship. I don't know why anyways, those articles screwed up the whole thing. Anyways, symbiotic relationship. Spider-Man realizes that the symbiote is changing his personality slowly. So he's like, this is bad, I need to get rid of it. It's too aggressive. Then he gets rid of it. Now the symbiote is pissed because he feels like he was abandoned by Peter and Spider-Man. And so when he meets Eddie Brock in the bottom of the bell tower, it's like it's a scorned type of thing, like vengeance, you know. Plus there's the added dynamic because he was attached to him, he already knows all of his secrets, he already knows everything about him, he already knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker and all that stuff. So the fact that with this series of movies, Venom doesn't have Spider-Man's characteristics, he doesn't have his web shooting abilities, he doesn't have his identity and his memories and all that stuff, he doesn't have the white spider pattern across his chest, he doesn't have a vendetta against Spider-Man. It just makes it all weird. So anyways, overall, mediocre movie. It was cool seeing the CGI of Carnage, but that was about it for me. Okay. Thanks for watching. And I'll talk to you in the next video.